What is up, gang? How are we doing out there? Welcome back to the SledgeHammer Wrestling Show, your source for news, rumors, and highlights in the world of professional wrestling. I am your host, as always, Nick Nightmare, and let's get to what's happening. A really big, too enthusiastic thumbs up for Backlash. This show kicked off with a bang. They started off with the 6-woman elimination 6-pack challenge for the SmackDown Women's title. This match was unbelievable. These girls did a fantastic job. There were a few little shaky spots, but that's to be expected in any match, not just because it was a women's match, but because everybody throughout the night is going to have a spot or two where, you don't hit it right, you just don't get the right momentum, you missed it just by a little quarter of an inch, so it looked a little tricky. Any wrestling fan can tell you they've seen it happen a million times over. But all little mistakes here and there aside, this match was fantastic. It had drama, it had excitement, and it had shock, as many of us going into this match believed Nikki Bella was going to become the first ever SmackDown Women's Champion. That did not happen, and the crowd favorite, for once, actually came out on top. And I'm not going to disagree with this at all. Sure, it would have been fun for us to wait a little longer and maybe build up Becky Lynch, but how much longer does she really have to wait? She's the only one now, besides Bayley, who's been called up now, who's not had a championship, and she's very deserving of it. And there's no real reason why they should have delayed it any further. And straight fire, Becky Lynch comes out with a win. Every single girl in this match was very impressive. Natalya came out looking good. The standout of the match was Naomi. She pulled off some incredible maneuvers. She's extremely athletic. She's very agile. From the minute she comes out with her entrance, throughout the whole thing with her, it's just entertainment from start to finish, and she's good, man. She's better than good. She's really something special, and I hope everybody else feels the glow like I do, and it seems the crowd's getting behind her, and man, let me tell you something. If you did not see this match, go back and watch just to check out Naomi's coming out party, because she really put on a show. And even though she didn't win, she came out like a shining star. Hands down. Not the shining stars like the crappy tag team on Raw. Like an actual shining star burning bright in the sky. We also had the tiny yet terrifying Alexa Bliss coming out in her Harley Quinn gear. Loved the look. Alexa Bliss has fast become one of my favorites. Almost because of her in-ring talent. She's one of the first girls from NXT that really caught my eye as far as how she performed in the ring. I think she's very attractive. I know some of you will disagree with me, and everybody's entitled to their opinion, but I am very high on Alexa Bliss. She put on a fantastic performance in this match too, coming off as a real bitch heel and trying her best to weasel this win out and trying to eliminate everybody she can, but it just didn't happen for her this time. That is not the last we see of Alexa Bliss, and she is going to be a force to be reckoned with. Let me tell you something. Becky Lynch versus Alexa Bliss could be a WrestleMania main event for SmackDown, if it's done right. So congratulations, Becky Lynch, the Irish last kicker, new SmackDown Women's Champion. As I previously reported, rumors have come true of the fact that Bray Wyatt and Randy Orton are not going to fight tonight. Bray Wyatt attacks him backstage, takes out Randy. The announcers confirm Randy is not going to be able to compete tonight, blah blah blah. We move on to the next match, which was the Usos and the Hype Bros, which took a turn away from my original predictions. I thought maybe they were going to give it to the Hype Bros. But the Usos, in their new black gear and their new arrogant, cocky swagger that they had coming down to the ring and throughout the match, telling the crowd to be quiet, putting their fingers up in the shush. And come on, you don't shush a person. You just don't do it. Who shushes people? Really? I digress. Anyway, the Usos come out and have a very, very good match with the Hypros. They had an actual tag team match. It actually had time, and they put together a great story. I really believed the Hypros were going to win this match, but in the end, the Usos, due to an illegal chop block, gained the advantage at the end, took out Zack Ryder, forced him to tap out, but the match all in all was very, very well done. Not boring at all. It was very exciting, much more than I expected to get through this match. And in the end, the Usos advance to the finals and will be facing Heath Slater and Rhino. Which leads us to a little promo segment with Heath Slater and Rhino and Renee Young in the back. And for some reason, Heath Slater reveals to the world, because he thought the interview was over, that he ate some crab dip and he thinks it might have went bad. He's very, very nervous and he's been shitting all day. And when I first seen this segment, I was afraid of what the consequences of this particular funny moment might be. But we'll get to that a little later on. We were treated, and I'm surprised to even say the word that we were treated, to an intercontinental title match between The Miz and Dolph Ziggler. They had what I would consider, for at least in recent memory, an actual intercontinental championship match. There was real wrestling. There was real fighting. These guys both looked tremendous. They both shined with each other. And they really did the Intercontinental Championship justice with the performance that they put on. It really made you feel like The Miz needs this belt. It's important to him. And Dolph Ziggler needs it more. It's important to him, and it came across in their performance. Everything you could have ever wanted from The Miz, you got in this match. He was fantastic. He was doing springboard power bombs. He was doing surfboard stretches. He was mocking the general manager, which I love, because I was afraid that they were just going to drop it. But it seems that they are going to continue this little tiff between Daniel Bryan and The Miz, which, as you could see, is already getting over like gangbusters here. I found myself, once again, rooting for The Miz like I used to back in the day. I did not want him to lose this match. This was a duel of epic proportions. I was into it. The crowd was into it. Near fall after near fall. One submission after another. The two athletes completely spent by the end of the match. But the heart and determination in both of these guys just would not die. The Miz would come back out and just almost break Dolph's leg in the figure four. And he wouldn't even break for until the 5 count. Like, he was really wrenching in on that leg. I thought Dolph was going to tap. Dolph hits him with the super kick. Everybody thinks that's it. Miz gets his foot on the ropes. This match continued to be unbelievable. And at this point in the match, I'm already fully of the mindset that The Miz has proven everybody wrong. He has fought this match like an Intercontinental Champion. This is his defining moment. This match was really unbelievable. Win or lose, The Miz has proven Daniel Bryan wrong. He shut up all his critics, and in my opinion, nobody can say anything about the in-ring ability of The Miz after this night. And in the end, true to any real bad guy with a manager in pro wrestling, The Miz's wife sprays Dolph in the face with some hairspray, allowing Miz to hit him with the skull-crushing finale and retaining his Intercontinental Championship. It was a beautiful, beautiful wrestling match even the finish, even though she sprayed him in the face to allow him to get the win, this match was almost flawless. Flawless. I loved every bit of it. Yes, it would have been better if The Miz would have won completely clean, but there is no denying what these guys pulled off in this match. The Miz is what he says he is, and he made that belt and himself and Dolph Ziggler look like the mega superstars they all deserve to be. Congratulations, 2 thumbs up going out to everybody involved in this match. Fan-fucking-tastic. Unbelievable. Keep giving me more of this, and I am in. I'm in 100% of the time. You know, I didn't even mention this match at all in my preview of Backlash. I had forgotten all about it. And it ends up being, at this point on the card, my favorite thing that has happened on the show. It was truly something special. And you know what? Ric Flair gave The Miz the figure 4, and tonight I think Ric Flair is very proud of The Miz. My only concern about this match is what happens to Dolph Ziggler. This is what, like his 4th straight loss at a big major pay-per-view? We'll talk a little bit more about that on this week's episode of The Nightmare Room, coming to you this weekend. Then we had some footage of a match that came to us earlier on the kickoff show, which was Baron Corbin and Apollo Crews. This match, I watched it when it happened. They showed the highlight package here. It was another very good match, but almost the same thing that I just said about Dolph Ziggler. My concern comes for Apollo Crews. It doesn't make sense to me that you're trying to build this kid up and you just keep making him lose to everybody. I don't understand. Baron Corbin, very deserving of the win. I think he's one of the future keystones of this generation of the WWE coming up right now. I'm almost positive he's going to be one of the big stars of the future. And we see why right here in the promo package from the match earlier. Baron Corbin, end of days to Apollo Crews. Baron Corbin is your winner from that match. And we move along. We had the Eater of Worlds, Bray Wyatt, coming out to the ring, dressed in his signature attire, with his fireflies all around him and his lantern glowing brightly in his face. And they make the official announcement that Randy's not going to be part of this match. The crowd boos as usual, and Bray Wyatt gets the official 10 count, which I don't know when that started for a forfeit. When you just forfeit, you forfeit, and that's it. But the twist comes when the announcer goes on to relay that Bray's going to have a no-holds-barred match against this man, and we're forced to wait for about 15 seconds for the arrival of Kane. And I'm not at all excited about this. As I've been saying, Kane's one of those guys that I respect and love, but your time has come. And I just did not see him as a fitting substitute for Randy Orton. Not that there's many fitting substitutes for Randy Orton on the very limited roster. I almost knew it was going to be Kane as soon as they said he was going to be fighting somebody, because literally who else are they going to put in this particular spot? And then, as you can imagine, it's no holds barred, so right away the match spills out of the ring and into the side, and the announce tables and the ring bells, and the chaos ensues. But oddly enough, it turns out to be a pretty decent match. The best thing they could have done was make it no holds barred, but it was also the worst thing they could have done. It allowed Bray Wyatt to showcase what kind of an absolute maniac he really is. The man is a monster. And against somebody like Kane, he had Kane on the ropes through the whole entire match. There was no way Kane was going to win this match. If you watched it, Bray Wyatt had Kane's number. When he did that senton bomb through the table on the outside, I felt his pain where I was sitting on my couch at home. And I actually was starting to give Kane his due. Even though I said, your time has come, he put on a good show. He did really well. And I thought he was going to possibly lose to Bray Wyatt and maybe fade a little bit more into the background. But that's not what we get. As because it was a no-holds-barred match, Randy Orton ends up coming out, hitting Bray Wyatt with an RKO, allowing Kane to hit the chokeslam and get the pin. And they allowed Bray Wyatt to lose to Kane again, doing damage to this character. This man is walking around claiming to be a god, but every time I see him wrestle, he loses. I don't understand it. It doesn't make sense to me. So that totally just brought me completely down off my high on the show for that moment, because I just don't see the value in having Kane win. It would have been much more impactful to have had Bray Wyatt completely, utterly destroy Kane and allow Randy to get his vengeance at another time. We didn't have to wrap it up in one night. Why couldn't Randy have attacked Bray Wyatt on Tuesday? It just doesn't make sense to me. After this match, we had AJ Styles walking backstage and ends up bumping into two jokers. I don't know. They must have been a couple of the guys that got their ass beat by Braun Strowman. He told them that this is good for you because this is the night that you met the phenomenal one. I'm phenomenal. I'm AJ Styles. I'm phenomenal. And you met me the night I became the World Heavyweight Champion. It was about 2.5 minutes of unnecessary nonsense, as we're used to getting, but, it made AJ look funny, which we all know he could be. And if you didn't, now you know. So congratulations, WWE. You pulled off a funny segment for AJ with these two jokers that I hope that maybe you give them some kind of reward of some sort for having to sit there and take that from AJ. I mean, he wasn't overly rude, but still, just unnecessary silliness. Let's get back to the wrestling. So we finally have the finals of the SmackDown World Tag Team Championships as the two rude men who shush, the Usos, come on down to ringside again to try to win these belts from the popular and exciting Heath Slater and Rhino. This was another in a long line of good matches that happened tonight. Right off the bat, from the onset of this match, Heath Slater and Rhino were in firm control of the situation. They were handing the Usos a pretty good beatdown, but then Jimmy and Jay would gain the upper hand and would focus their attack on the smaller, weaker Heath Slater, trying to just destroy him. They kept him in the corner. They wouldn't allow him to get the tag. They were building and building and building towards that tag with Rhino, and the crowd solidly behind Slater and Rhino. The Usos, as I said before, in this new look with this new gimmick and the grills in the mouth and everything, I'm all for it. I love it. And I wish Roman Reigns would take some notes and follow suit, because when things aren't working and things get stale, this is what you do, and this is the potential that you could have. And the Usos in one night are showing that they've already established themselves as a very good heel tag team, if not the best heel tag team that they have on the roster, and I can't wait to see more from them. Finally, Rhino gets the tag and starts to come in and whoop ass, throwing the Usos all over the place. He gets the crowd all fired up. He sets himself up for that gore in the corner. He misses the gore, only to have Heath Slater tag himself in and clear house himself, taking out both the Usos single-handedly, almost getting the pin until one of the Usos, I can't tell them apart when they're wrestling, pulled Heath Slater out, which caused just enough of a distraction for Rhino to hit the gore, and then have Heath Slater roll over for the 1, 2, 3, our first ever inaugural SmackDown champions, and now newly signed employee on the SmackDown roster, Heath Slater and Rhino, The crowd popped. What a tremendous feel-good moment. Good on you, WWE. If you listened to my preview show on the Nightmare Room, I called it a little bit. I was a little surprised that Jason Jordan didn't come out and have a hand in this some way to kind of screw over the Usos in any way. I thought they would have some kind of appearance to keep them fresh in the minds of the fans and not really just have them forgotten like they weren't even a part of this in the first place, and then have the Usos rewarded with 2 matches. Like, I thought almost definitively that that's how they were going to end this whole thing, and that they were going to set up the rivalry between the Usos and American Alpha because of the interference and costing them the title. But that's not what happened, and even better for Heath Slater, the clean win over the Usos, crowning themselves the first ever tag champs. Another great match, another cool moment. Maybe Heath Slater can get that above ground pool he wants so desperately now. Honestly, the one and only time I've ever been happy for Heath Slater. Then we had to watch that stupid KFC commercial again, which I wish they would just stop showing. I wanted to forget about it the first time. It's so stupid and unappealing, and Dolph Ziggler looks ridiculous dressed up as the Colonel. I just hate it. But fortunately, I was quickly able to kick that aside as it was time for our main event. AJ Styles versus the WWE World Heavyweight Champion Dean Ambrose. This match was fantastic. These two put on a clinic illustrating how pro wrestling is done. It was a fantastic match. Much like I keep saying, and I don't want to keep repeating myself, but my words almost do these matches no justice. It was phenomenal. Lots of unique and different offense that we haven't seen from these two. AJ did some crazy stuff to Dean Ambrose's leg. It was quite clear that was the focus of his attack, that he wanted to get him to tap out with that calf crusher, but he couldn't get him to tap twice with the calf crusher. They're throwing each other into ring posts, doing moves on the side of the ring on the outside, the hardest part of the ring on the other side of the ropes, fighting on the outside, wrestling on the inside, straight up brawling, throwing punches. These two were not pulling anything back. This is what I wanted it to be, a World Heavyweight title match. Throwing everything out there, leaving nothing in the ring. The crowd, as this match went on, rising to its feet, staying on its feet up until the conclusion of the match. As a viewer at home, was a little weird hearing the mixed reaction for Dean Ambrose. You don't get that. And for AJ Styles being the bad guy, he's getting a lot of positive pops, which is just kind of weird, but I've grown used to that being from the Attitude Era. But the will to win in these two guys was unquestionable. The momentum of this match swung back and forth like a pendulum. Truly an instant classic, a match for the ages, an epic encounter, one of the best main events I've seen in a long time. And when the smoke clears, after a low blow and a Styles clash, AJ Styles, my favorite TNA wrestler of all time, who I was very happy to see come to the WWE, is the WWE World Heavyweight Champion. Congratulations to AJ Styles. What a night, what a show altogether. 5-star show, lots of 5-star matches. It was a fantastic night for SmackDown. Let's just hope they keep the momentum going and give us some more good TV leading up into, I believe, No Mercy, which is the next SmackDown exclusive pay-per-view coming at us after the Clash of Champions in just a couple of weeks. And that's going to do it. Thanks everybody for tuning back into the SledgeHammer Wrestling Show, your source for news, rumors, and highlights in the world of professional wrestling. I hope you enjoyed the review. I hope you enjoyed Backlash. We'll be back at you this week later on with the Raw review and the SmackDown review and whatever other review you would like me to do. Don't forget to support us. Click that like button. Click that subscribe button if you're watching on YouTube. If you're listening to us on Podbean, please don't forget to check us out on YouTube. Help us get our subscribers up. Help us get our likes up. help us become relevant and get our voice in the Sledgehead Army heard on YouTube and in the world of wrestling altogether. Thanks again, guys. We'll talk to you later.